In 2011, Catherine's life took a dramatic turn when her daughter, India, became involved in NXIVM, a self-help group that would later be exposed as a cult. NXIVM, led by Keith Raniere, preyed on vulnerable individuals, manipulating them into submission and exploiting them for various illicit activities. Catherine had no idea that her daughter had joined this dangerous organization, and when she found out, she was horrified. India had been recruited into NXIVM through her connection to other members, and at the time, she was convinced that the organization was helping her grow as a person. But as India became more deeply involved, Catherine began to notice troubling changes in her daughter. She was becoming increasingly distant and unrecognizable. As a mother, that she had to act before it was too late. What followed was a harrowing battle for Catherine. She fought relentlessly to rescue her daughter from the clutches of NXIVM. This fight wasn't just legal. It was emotional and personal. Catherine had to confront her own fears, doubts, and insecurities as she fought against a powerful and manipulative organization. But Catherine didn't give up. She reached out to others who had been affected by NXIVM, and together they mounted a campaign to expose the cult and its leader. The media attention around the NXIVM scandal grew, and eventually authorities took action. In 2018, Keith Raniere was arrested and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and other crimes. India was eventually freed from NXIVM, and her story was one of survival. Catherine's perseverance and love for her daughter had led her to a victory that seemed impossible. But the emotional toll of the battle was immense, and Catherine had to come to terms with the fact that her daughter had been manipulated and controlled by people she had once trusted. Looking back at Catherine Oxenberg's life, we see that her story is not one of fame and royalty, but one of struggle and resilience. She may have been born into a world of privilege, but it was her personal battles that defined her. Catherine's greatest strength was not her beauty or her acting career, but her ability to fight for those she loved. Her role as a mother became her defining legacy. It was her love for her children that propelled her to take on some of the most powerful and dangerous forces in her life. Through her fight to save India, Catherine showed the world that no matter the odds, a mother's love can overcome anything. In her late teens, Catherine decided to pursue acting, seeking a career in Hollywood. With her striking beauty and regal presence, she quickly became a sought-after actress. She landed a role in the 1980s television series Dynasty, one of the most successful and glamorous shows of the era. Catherine played Amanda Carrington, a role that introduced her to millions of viewers and thrust her into the Hollywood spotlight. For a while, Catherine seemed destined for stardom. She appeared in several other television shows and films, and her career seemed poised for greater success. Her name was synonymous with beauty, talent, and Hollywood royalty. But as quickly as she rose to fame, her career began to falter. The end of Dynasty in 1989 marked the beginning of a long period of uncertainty in Catherine's professional life. She struggled to find roles that could match the fame and recognition she had enjoyed during her time on the show. The Hollywood machine is notoriously fickle, and Catherine, despite her early success, was soon relegated to supporting roles and guest appearances. Her career stagnated, and she found herself fighting against the tide of newer, younger stars. As much as Catherine tried to revive her acting career, it was clear that Hollywood had moved on, and she was no longer a part of the glamorous world she had once inhabited. While Catherine's career was struggling, her personal life took a major turn when she married actor Casper Van Dien in 1999. The couple had 2 daughters together, India and Celeste. On the surface, their marriage seemed like the perfect Hollywood fairy tale. Yet, beneath the surface, cracks began to appear. Despite their outward appearance of happiness, Catherine and Casper's marriage was fraught with difficulties. As an actress, Catherine was often away from home, and her husband's career was also taking its own hit. Over time, their relationship began to deteriorate. They separated in 2005, and their divorce was finalized a few years later. Catherine now found herself facing the challenges of raising 2 daughters as a single mother. The breakdown of her marriage was a painful experience for Catherine, but it also marked the beginning of her transformation. She became fiercely protective of her children and poured all her energy into their well-being. Being a mother became her highest priority, and she put her personal life on hold to focus on raising her daughters the best she could. Catherine's story as a mother is not just one of struggle, but of resilience. Catherine Oxenberg, her name carries the weight of royalty and fame. Born into a family with a rich European royal history, Catherine also carved out a successful career in Hollywood. Yet, behind the facade of wealth, beauty, and glamour, her life has been anything but easy. The story of Catherine Oxenberg is one of strength, heartbreak, and resilience. It is a life full of contradictions. A Hollywood star who couldn't escape the shadow of her royal bloodline. A mother whose greatest battle wasn't fought in the spotlight, but behind closed doors. And a woman who struggled to find her true place in a world that expected her to be perfect. This is the tragic and inspiring life of Catherine Oxenberg. Catherine Oxenberg was born on September 22nd, 1961, in New York City, USA, to a family with a rich and complex heritage. Her mother, Princess Elizabeth of Yugoslavia, was a descendant of the Serbian royal family, and her father, Howard Oxenberg, was an American businessman and film producer. This combination of European royalty and American Hollywood glamour set the stage for Catherine's life in a way that few could imagine. From the beginning, Catherine's world was one of both privilege and expectation. Her family's connections to the royal family gave her a sense of grandeur, but it also came with a heavy burden. Catherine was raised in a world of luxury, attending private schools, socializing with the rich and famous, and traveling across the globe. Yet, despite her royal heritage, Catherine's life was far from idyllic. As a child, she faced the challenges of being caught between two worlds, her family's royal history and the reality of growing up in America. Her mother, Princess Elizabeth, was often absent, caught up in the responsibilities that came with her royal status. Catherine, though loved, was raised in an environment that often felt emotionally distant. She found herself constantly seeking approval and love, not from the privileged circle she was born into, but from her own family. As a young girl, Catherine was also aware of the contradictions in her life. Despite the privilege she had, she was not entirely accepted in the royal world, where she struggled to fit into the traditional mold expected of a royal descendant. Yet, she was never truly a regular American child either. She lived her life in a world of contrasts, unsure of where she truly belonged. Catherine Oxenberg's story is one of profound tragedy and redemption. She was born into a world of royalty, but her greatest battle was not against the pressures of her family's history or the expectations of Hollywood. Her battle was fought in the quiet moments of motherhood, where she made the choice to stand up and protect her family. Her legacy is not defined by her roles in Dynasty or her royal bloodline. It is defined by the courage and love she showed when she faced unimaginable challenges. Catherine's story is a reminder that life's greatest victories are not always won in the spotlight, but in the personal battles we fight for those we love. Thank you for watching this video on Catherine Oxenberg's life. If her story has touched you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. Share this video with anyone who might be inspired by Catherine's journey. Until next time, keep fighting for what matters most.